Ladies and gentlemen,
it's early. It's early.
The GOAT, the man,
What?
who alongside others in the Attitude Era, but in a big way, put this business on his back and carried it to levels that nobody in the history of Earth could think of for the WWE. A man, because of his bald head and his big brain inside of it, and his jean shorts and his ability to speak to the common man, made the WWE the most famous thing on Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, hero, icon,
What?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Can I hear everybody?
Hello,
What?
Steve.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
It's good to be here.
What?
I grew up watching your show on TV.
What?
Are we going to do that today?
I had a chance to see you, first time meet you, grew up watching you. I've told you this personally, I'll say this publicly with you around. I grew up in a blue-collar community. I grew up with parents that hated authority. I grew up in a town that loved to drink beer. I grew up in a town that Stone Cold Steve Austin influenced every single Monday night. You are the hero, the legend in my eyes, and I would like to let you know, thank you for coming on the show today. And thank you for being so kind whenever I get a chance to chat with you. I remember we were in Dallas day before, and I got a chance to meet you. It was one of the coolest moments of my life. And I said, I can't wait to be in the building when the glass breaks. And this place goes absolutely apeshit. First time ever in Dallas. And you said, oh, I hope. You need to know, for the rest of your fucking life, anywhere you go, give me a hell yeah! Forever. Thank you for what you've done for our life.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate that. It sounds like you grew up in a hell of a town, and on that same note, man, if you're saying, hey, thank you to me. Hey, thank you guys. God dang, you try to give it back. These are the greatest fans in the world. You know that.
Absolutely.
God dang it, I got to tell them. Thank you. Appreciate you guys so much. You know, God dang, Pat, it's been a while since I've been around. Last time we saw each other was Dallas at that, WrestleMania what?
38.
But it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
It's like every time you come back to something like this in the world of WWE, you just wonder, hey, will those fans still remember? And hell, they never forget. And hell, I was in the hotel the other day, and you got these kids 6, 8, 10 years old, and they got no business, even knowing about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I left the ring in 2003, but it's like I never left. So it's just great to be remembered. It's great to be here in such a positive universe.
You've earned it. You've earned it with everything that you did for the company, and every time you come back, we all get excited. And you heard them chanting one more match or one last match. You had one a couple years ago in Dallas with Kevin Owens, obviously, and I think all of us were impressed by the amount of shit that you did in that match. I don't think anybody was expecting that much. Then there's been rumors, basically every single big PLE, hey, Steve Austin, Steve Austin, Steve Austin. Because of how popular you are, everybody wants that to happen. How much do you think about that at this stage of life? You're in great shape. I know you're doing four-wheeling at a very high level. How much do you think about wrestling still? And do you ever get in there and, see if the old ass could take another drop-down stunner?
No, I don't think about anything like that. I've kind of moved on down the road, and don't get me wrong, the competitive side of me, which kind of transfers into the racing that I'm doing now that you spoke of, I want to be the best at everything that I do. And, you still go back and you watch these guys and the gals in the ring in the WWE, and you think, hey, man, I could have gave Kevin Owens a little bit more than what I had. And sometimes you think about it, but, hey, man, I think the time right now for the people in the ring, it's for the younger generation. That's for the young men and women that are out there on the road. I leave it to them. And they've taken it to a great place. The business has grown to something that I never would have imagined. So, my days of, don't get me wrong, I can still whip some ass.
Right.
But I'm not looking to get back in the ring at any time in the future because these young cats need something to shoot for. Stone Cold don't need to beat nobody's ass anymore. And that's the bottom line because I said so.
Yeah, still got it. Now, you mentioned the young cats, and you mentioned the current state of the business being into place. Do you follow, and what are your thoughts on the current state of the business? Because there's always, I think Triple H just did an interview talking about it. In basketball, there's a lot of conversation about the older generation versus the younger generation. Football, same exact thing. Older wrestlers viewing younger wrestlers. You, GOAT wrestler, viewing the modern, kind of generation of wrestling. What are your thoughts on the state of where the WWE is right now?
Man, as far as I could see, I follow more on IG and stuff like that. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but God dang, the business is cooking. The houses are full. The fans are excited. The talent has taken the game to a level. It's like everything, the evolution of sports, shoot sports. But wrestling has done the same. It just keeps getting, faster. The kids these days are better athletes than we were back in the day. So I just think that they're doing a great job.
They weren't, dude.
Well, that's something I got to chip out there because, walking around out there with a couple of knee braces, I did pretty damn well.
Yeah, but think about their bodies with 6, 7, 8, 12, 24, 31, 42 beers in their mouth and in their system while having to operate. None of these hangovers for 3 weeks nowadays, as opposed to working the next day. You're a different type of athlete, brother. I think you need to understand that.
Man, life on the road was so good back in the day. I take a story to tell these people out here. It was WrestleMania in Dallas a couple years ago, and I went out there and had that match, and then came back, and Brock Lesnar and I are pretty good friends. We never speak, but we're really good friends. And we had wanted to have a drink, after the show. And no one's ever heard this story. So I had a bottle of Maker's Mark from Jerry Jones's suite up there at AT&T Stadium. And it was myself, Brock Lesnar, Pat McAfee, and Larry Heck, the trainer. And we had a fifth of Maker's Mark. This is just kind of what the business is about and what it should be. And we all started around, we were pouring that Maker's Mark whiskey in those little plastic cups. And we said, I'll piss on that. And we just started passing that bottle around. And less than 60 minutes later, that whole fifth of whiskey was gone and everybody was buzzed. And God dang, that's the brotherhood of what the business is all about. So that's what I want these young cats to understand. It's going out there, working your ass off and having a good time and entertaining the people, but it's a brotherhood.
It's a locker room.
It's a locker room.
It's a locker room. You need them. In me being invited into that room, I don't know if you've heard my side of that story. So, yes, you and Brock are going to have drinks in a locker room. Larry Heck, who is a dog in the medical, whatever. I don't even call him a doctor one day. I'm not a doctor. Don't say that. Trainer, whatever it is. Yeah, Larry's been around a long, long time. Larry's great. So I get a text like, hey, come to the locker room or whatever it was. I was like, you got it. So I come walking in. I open the door, and I see you and Brock sitting there. And I was like, oh, shit, I feel like this is a big moment in wrestling history. I feel like it actually was. You two hadn't talked, right? A lot at that point. That was like one of the first real times. So I walk in, and I almost do like the Homer Simpson, okay, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Instead, I stuck around, and the storytelling, the vibes, the energy, just everything about it is what makes like the business go. It makes a football team go. And it was an honor to be in there, but damn, that was a fifth of that. And then how many Steve Weisers? I think we had like
Yeah, there was a lot of beer going too. It was one of those deals, man. I mean, I can go, but the next morning, and I heard everybody else was selling big time.
Yes.
I wasn't selling as much, but yeah, I was selling. It hurt.
Yeah, so I texted Larry, and I'm like, I'm in a bad spot. And Larry's like, oh, you got to no-sell this or whatever whenever you talk to Brock and Steve. And I'm like, no, I'm fucking dead. I was puked 3 times the next day. It was an honor to drink with you. That was a dream come true. And thanks for stunning me. There's no reason for that. We were having a good time. We're having a good time. We're drinking some beers.
Right.
We're serenading the crowd.
Right.
We're in Jerry world.
Right.
We're reminiscing.
Right.
And then boom. Boom.
And dude, you took that stunner like a champ, and people asked me, and then some of the guys backstage, they know me pretty well, and they said, hey man, it looked like you shot with that stunner on McAfee. They said, what was up? And I said, yeah. I said, anytime them damn football players come over here and try to get in our world, you got to show them what's up. Yeah. So yeah, I laid that shit in on him. And the last I heard, I thought I dislocated your jaw, messed up a couple of C vertebrates. I hit you over here on this side, caught you with a liver shot with that big boot.
Yeah.
And I heard you was just all fucked up.
Yeah, I was, yeah. Hey, that's what happens whenever you drink with a Texas rattlesnake. That is a possibility. But yeah, the neck was stunned, obviously. Jaw had a couple there, and I was.
But no animosity back towards me now, right?
Never. You're
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Cole has a question for you, Steve.
Well, actually, I just want to thank Steve because I wouldn't be here today without you. I mean,
How do you figure that?
well, first off, when I started, I was the butt of all your jokes and all of your interviews and all of your certain things that you did. Then you beat the shit out of me one night where you knocked me out with a punch and then kicked me in my kidney to wake me up. And then you gave me the honor of being the special guest referee for a match that was voted the worst in WrestleMania history, me versus Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah.
But you actually agreed to be the special guest referee of that match, and I'll forever be indebted to you for that. I mean, coming up in the business with you was incredible.
Man, but I got to say, I mean, because of the state and of the business and where we were in that year and what Stone Cold was, I had to lay that ass whooping in, and that's all serious. That was protecting the business, and you took it like a champ because I truly did beat the shit out of you.
Hey, way to go, Cole. Way to go, Cole.
Thank you. Hey, also, Wade Barrett, who's a commentator with us now, Wade and I frequent your brewery in El Segundo.
It's a great place to go.
It is phenomenal,
Yeah.
and they take care of us there all the time.
That felt like an easy fit, you and beer. Why'd you finally get into the beer game? It feels like that should have been something for a long time.
Well, it's something for a long time, and when I was, here's a story like a lot of people
You
don't
might
know
be like
about.
the most notorious beer drinker in the history of humankind.
Probably, that's something, a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
Hey, it was way back in the day, and I was running hot at Stone Cold. We were doing some beer testing with the place up in northern New York. We're about to come out with Stone Cold beer. And then, we come up with a bad booking decision, about me and Brock and Monday Night Raw. And I said, hey, man, F this. And that blew the beer deal up. So all these years later, of course, as you know, the beer drinking's a shoot for me. I grew up drinking beer my whole life. And, in college, when you're starving, drinking the shittiest beer that you can afford.
Absolutely.
Lone Star.
So, yeah.
PBR, Natty Light, Boosh
I'm not
Light.
going to name any names. But anyway, I'd always wanted to get in the beer market, and I started seeing about these craft beers. I said, man, what the F is all this craft beer stuff? Because I figured that was for the snobs.
Yep.
And so I started drinking a bunch of pale ales and stuff like that, and I kind of tried one of those IPAs, India Pale Ales. I said, man, that's a little too hoppy. I went back to the pale ale, and I said, man, that ain't hoppy enough. And so I went back to the India Pale Ales, the IPAs, and my manager at the time went to high school with Rob Croxall, who owns El Segundo Beer Company, and he put us together. We liked each other, saw the same vision for great beer. El Segundo Brewing Company is known for making great IPAs, West Coast style. So we hit it off, and I've been in it. This is an interesting year for me because 2025, I've been in the beer business 10 years with El Segundo Brewing Company, and it was a match made in heaven. We're proud of our beer. We're craft beer. We're not the biggest. We're competing with the bigs, but our beer, we make some good fucking beer. And I'm also, this year, I celebrate my 10th anniversary with Kawasaki Motorsports. So milestone, 2025 has turned out to be good. And here at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, I don't like to leave the state of Nevada too much because this is my home. And coming down we were just here last month at the Met 400, And I finished that race. We had a lot of problems and broke down, but finished this race. So it's just a great year, and it's good to be here with you guys.
Yeah, but what an accomplished dude. Obviously, WWE GOAT will always be talked about as such. Anytime you walk into a WWE place, it'll go crazy. 10 years with Kawasaki, that's a long time with a partnership. 10 years with El Segundo with beer, that's a long partnership. You're an accomplished dude. You've done good, Steve. Never forget it. And as long as Steve Austin's selling beer, I got a nice little piece of information for you that you're going to want to hear. People are going to drink it, brother, and we're one of them, for sure. On that note, Hulkster has a question for you, Stone Cold.
Yeah, Steve, just first and foremost, I'd like to say from one beer magnate to one up-and-coming beer magnate, congrats on all your success, brother. I love you. You know that. I wanted to ask you, though, with Mania right here, I'll tell you what, these marks have been up my ass all weekend so far. It's getting real hard. I'm about to go over the edge, and I'm going to leave a lot of people unhappy here, dude. See, show some goddamn respect, brother. You, right? I'm looking at you.
Dude, marks.
But anyway, just curious, I think I saw an excerpt that basically said you were like, hey, listen, there's nothing better than being in that ring. There's no feeling that's going to, get to that point with all the motorsports and everything you're doing and all that kind of stuff. Do you feel like you're kind of always chasing that feeling that you get in the ring, or is that kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what, that's the best feeling ever, dude, and I'm never going to reach that again?
No, I'm not chasing that feeling in the ring. It was just we was filming a project, and I've been riding buggies and four-wheelers and all that shit my whole life. And we were filming a show, and someone asked me, hey, man, do you want to do a poker run? A poker run is a pre-run for an off-road desert race. And I said, man, what the fuck is a poker run? Because I don't play cards. So anyway,
you don't play cards?
There. No, man, I ain't got time to play cards.
Okay.
You sit there and you do your little cards out.
Yeah, you do your little cards and you look at them. Yeah, what?
Yeah, and then you try to bluff the other guy. It ain't my bag, man.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, there we were, and I ran that race, and then the owner of the team, Shane Kissman, called me up and he said, "Hey, man, would you like to really race side by sides?" And so I started that, but I didn't do that to try to chase what wrestling brought to me, because you got to move on in life, and there ain't nothing that can mimic or follow what these crowds deliver when you're in that ring, going down to give them 15, 20, 25 minutes of excellence that goes in the business of pro wrestling in a 20 by 20 squared circle. So I don't chase that, but I do have that. Racing and me were a good fix. I found it a little bit late in life. I wish I'd have found it sooner. But I love to drive, because we like going on the shows on the road. I love to drive, like to have a steering wheel in my hand, and I'm a type A personality. I hate to be late to the finish line, so it was a match made in heaven.
Hell yeah. Did you ever do an Uber? You've never Ubered in your life, I assume.
You mean like been in Uber and drove?
No, like.
Can you imagine that?
Been in the car. Was the Mark.
Have you had, Mark.
Yeah, I was Uber Mark, yeah. Yeah, I always get them big SUVs. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to tell you about liking to drive. I have gotten Uber drivers sit shotgun and drove because I didn't like the way person was driving.
Yeah.
I agree completely with what you're saying with having a wheel in your hand.
Yeah.
How fast are you going out there on the desert in those side by sides?
Man, our buggies, you think about the trophy trucks, those things are doing, $120, $130, $140, whatever. If we're hitting about 80, and we're running pro naturally aspirated. So it's a tough-ass buggy, but we're hitting speeds of about 80.
I love watching it on Instagram. We also love Poncho.
Ponches.
Hey, let me give a shout-out to them two solid-ass cats. And Poncho's been kayfabing me lately. We got an angle going on here. I'm a little bit pissed off at him. Every time I go out there to pet his ass, he's starting to walk away on me.
What?
Macho went after a chick, and I had to suspend his belt, he broke a sanction, so he's on a suspension.
What?
Life at the Broken Skull Ranch is getting a little tough now. These cats got to realize that Paw is still the boss over there.
They're getting a little rub, brother.
They're getting a rub, but those are some solid-ass cats, and I love them to death. Yeah, there they are.
The goats.
There's Poncho, the tuxedo cat, and the orange cat is Macho. We named him Poncho. It was just a given. We originally had a black cat, and he was lefty, and he kicked the bucket. We got another one.
Hey, we would like to let you know, we did a
live memorial
for
the raccoons.
lefties.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we
the lake.
Okay, last question here. We got 2 minutes before we have a hard out. John Cena. Okay. Obviously, you guys are in a Mount Rushmore conversation. You know who you are, and there's nobody that doubts it. When you see Cena do what Cena has done here over these last couple weeks, because his last time is now. We wanted one last John Cena. We wanted the whole thing. We wanted to throw in the headbands. We wanted the Make-A-Wishes. And then all of a sudden he comes out and tells the fans that they've been rude to him over the last 20 years and they've disrespected him, and he's gone completely the other way, taking on Cody Rhodes, a guy that obviously they came up into business kind of together. What are your thoughts on that match, and what are your thoughts on what Cena did, selling out to Dwayne Johnson, the final boss?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match, you know, and it's, hey, if you like the John Cena heel turn, give me a hell yeah. If you don't like the John Cena heel turn, give me a hell yeah. I said I like it. So, hey, I dig it too.
Says.
Hey, John's a goat.
The one for the bad guys.
Yeah, John's had a hell of a damn run. So it's for me to be inside the business as long as I was. I didn't have the longest career in the world, but to see what John's doing and where he's going right now, to me, I love it because he just means so much to all of these people here, whether you boo him or you cheer him. To see him as a heel is a breath of fresh air for me, so well, Steve, I dig it the most.
Steve, you went through it.
What's that?
I mean, you went through it. You were so popular, you turned heel as well. You went through.
I tried to turn heel. That was, that was something that didn't need to happen. We tried to force that, and it didn't fit. I think the way John did it, I think it fits.
Uh-oh, what's
that?
We
got a hard out here, McAfee. You're the one that said it.
15 seconds.
30 seconds. Everybody covered?
Hurry.
Yep. Tone, one more. Tone. Here you go.
Ready?
And here's to you, Stone Cold, you son of a bitch!
Oh, hell yeah! Wayne! Hey, guys. Hey, thank you, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hell yeah!
All right, we'll be back on the other side of the break for hour 2 from WWE World. We had a little beer.
What?
Had a little convo.
What?
Had a little side-by-side talk.
What?
Had a little poncho talk.
What?
Had a little Cena talk.
What?
Had a little goat talk.
What?
And we had Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Pat McAfee said so.